What up, guys? Your boy Quake, and 50 Cent is back to trolling Jim Jones and has released some very recent footage as of about a day ago of Jim Jones trying to kick in the door of his alleged podcast studio, maybe his apartment. I don't know. There's no clear clarification on what he is trying to kick down, but he is clearly evicted because 50 decided to post also the eviction notice. So let's go over this. For those that are unaware as to why 50 Cent is beefing with Jim Jones, it's very simple. On Jim Jones's podcast, Let's Rap About It with Mano, Fabulous, and Dave East, they decided to criticize 50 Cent's Netflix documentary on Diddy. They called it a mockumentary. They didn't directly say 50 Cent's name in the clip, but it's clear as day as to who they're talking about or what documentary they're talking about. 50 caught wind of that, didn't like it, called them out, and then revealed that they had been late on paying their rent and they had been late on, I believe, paying light bills and all this other stuff that comes with owning or trying to rent out a building. He revealed that they owed hundreds of thousands of dollars they were behind on, and even got the owner on the phone and leaked audio of the conversation of him with the owner about him not getting his payment that he was owed from Jim Jones and everybody else. From there, just recently, on the Let's Rap About It podcast, they talked about the Tony Yayo and Ja Rule incident on the airplane. They didn't directly mention names, but they talk about it briefly, and it's clear as day that they're mentioning, obviously, the Tony Yayo and Ja Rule incident because they mentioned pillow throwing. So they are continuing their trolling or their, talk on their podcast, despite 50 doing what he's doing.
Who do you call if you on a plane?
Depends on.
And you run into niggas and it turns into a pillow fight. Who do you call in?
That's a good question.
Who do you call if you run into some of your opposition?
Your ops?
On a plane. How do you handle it?
And I guess 50 caught wind of that as well, potentially, and was like, okay, you guys want to keep running your mouths. And obviously the diss track added, more fuel to the fire, with Fabulous going in and Jim Jones dissing, and Mano and Davies kind of dissed, but they didn't really go really in like that. Davies didn't diss at all, I don't think. But Mano, had a little slick words. And then 50 and Mano actually went back and forth for a little bit as well. But it's been mainly Jim Jones, as well as Fabulous, with people saying, hey, there should be bars that go back at Fabulous and 50 should be rapping. And then 50 in a Rolling Stone interview said that he recorded a mixtape, potentially going at them, but just didn't release it. So there's just been a lot of back and forth, right? But today, actually last night, 50 dropped video footage of Jim Jones trying to kick the door in to his building, whatever building it is, whether it's his apartment, his podcast studio, I don't know. But check it out. There is audio on this where one of the guys actually says the lights are off, the lights aren't turned on or whatever. So maybe there's a power bill that they didn't pay as well. But check it out.
What was you talking about? He cut the lights off. You're not supposed to. You heard Jim? Huh? He cut the lights off. Turn back on. What's up? What happened? Yeah, I'm good. No, it's mine. It's my property. All right? You got a problem talking about it.
See, as you can hear in the beginning of the video, one of Jim Jones' friends says, he cut the lights off. You heard Jim? He cut the lights off. And then he says something like, turn it back on. And then he's trying to kick the door in. And I believe some neighbors or somebody that's, around him is asking what's going on. And he's just like, hey, I'm kicking in my own spot. Like, don't worry about it, basically. The first door he struggles to. It just doesn't work at all. The second door he does get in. But I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy how 50 even got this footage. But then again, it's not, because people need to think that, you guys got to remember 50 is at a level where if he goes at somebody or disrespects somebody on his Instagram or makes it publicly known, there are going to be a lot of people that want to give 50 information, either to get on his good side or to do business with him, so on and so forth. So when people are saying like, oh, 50's the feds, like, how did he get this? Like, it's not that hard for somebody of that level to get that type of information. Think of it like TMZ. Like, immediately when that Tony Yeo and Ja Rule airplane incident happened, there was TMZ reached out to probably all the people that were flying there and were like, hey, do you have any footage? Did you record any footage? And they ended up finding footage of a passenger recording, you know, the altercation with Ja Rule and Yayo and Murda. So it's not that hard. If you have the access, you know, and you got, you know, the status, which TMZ does, which 50 does, which Jay-Z, whoever at that level does, it's not hard to get this type of stuff. There are people that are willing to give it to you for money or to do business with you in some way, shape, or form. So 50 got this, I'm pretty sure, from the actual owner of the building because, you know, they had conversations before. So I wouldn't be surprised if he put that out there just to embarrass Jim Jones even more because the owner of the building wants his money. So on the second slide of this Instagram post, 50 posted the actual notice that was on the door. Before I go over that, though, let's go over the caption of what 50 said. He said, damn, bro, this wouldn't happen if we was friends. Want to be friends? I don't know. Let's rap about it. LOL. And then he said delicious, which is, I don't know. That's some crazy shit from 50. But let's go over the actual notice that was on the door. So it's IFC management to Joseph Jones, which Joseph Jones is Jim Jones. It goes to where where it's posted at, Bronx, New York, and then talks about the lease agreement dated December 17th, 2025, which would be actually about around the week that Jim Jones and, you know, all of them decided to criticize 50 Cent's Netflix documentary. That's around the time when this lease agreement happened. And then it goes over all these companies, and then it goes Joseph Jones, tenant, and then talks about the location of what it is. And then it says, take notice as follows. The tenant was served with a 15-day notice of default dated January 5th, 2026. So even after, because people are saying like, oh, maybe, you know, 50's just giving them buzz and helping them for their podcast. Even after 50 airing them out and all that, they were still struggling. You know, their podcast jumped a little bit in views because obviously with 50 mentioning you, he is a huge superstar. It's going to jump in views. But, you know, even when 50 posted my face on his Instagram, I started getting random DMs from companies and people just because that's how much power, you know, a star at that level has. But regardless, it never even helped them that much because they were still having issues because, you know, they put a notice on January 5th, 2026, which expired on January 22nd, which is a 15-day notice, and then a 5-day notice of termination, meaning that, hey, this deal with you leasing this building is going to go, you know, terminated because you missed these dates of making sure the payments were made on time. And then they had a termination date dated on February 10th, 2026, which expired on February 17th, 2026, which is just recently, a couple of days ago. The second thing says the tenant's tenancy at the premises has been terminated. The third thing is that pursuit to the landlord's rights under lease, including paragraph 17, blah, 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 all this termination. The tenant may make agreements with landlord to coordinate retrieval of tenant's property. So basically, hey, you're getting kicked out, we can make a deal where you can get your stuff out of there. That should tenant attempt to enter the premises, change the locks, or seek to retrieve its property or cause any third party to do so without the landlord's express permission. Landlord reserves the right to prosecute the same as trespass and pursue all other available remedies. And that's where we talk about, because this is on video, and it's obviously now very publicly noted, Jim Jones responded to 50 Cent posts in that video, and he made a trolling video of him pretending to do karate because obviously he was kicking in the door and he's doing his kung fu skills in that video. He then posts in the caption, Kung Fu Jim is what they call him, LOL. I need you good movie to watch on this big screen. We got cable, LOL. So check out the video. I'm sure the landlord saw this. That's how probably 50 got the footage. So the landlord already is probably prosecuting and is going to charge, Jim Jones with trespassing. He's going to face legal problems, so on and so forth. 50 posting it just amplifies that even more and makes it even worse for them. So with that being said, there is going to be some legal ramifications. Is it going to, potentially have Jim Jones face prison time or jail time? Possibly. But yeah, you can't, if you're kicked out or locked out, you can't kick the tenant's, the landlord's door in. Clearly you didn't pay your bills, so you're not allowed in there anymore. But yeah, it's crazy, clear as day that Jim Jones is struggling to pay whatever bills that he has, which is crazy, man. He's been in the game for so long, had so much success at certain points in his career that you would think at this point you'd be smart enough to invest your money and, just move better. But we don't know the full story. I don't know. Who knows? It's only what's presented in front of us. And, Jim Jones has trolled with this. He's always said, like, hey, this is just bringing me more promo. Keep talking about me. Doesn't matter. I don't know. That he showed that big warehouse. I don't think he would be investing all that time in building these little studios in that big warehouse if, he wasn't like 100% on making sure that, hey, he had his bills paid. At least I would hope so, because that would be a dumb move to be investing all that time and money into something and not even paying your rent. So that's it with that. Let me know what you guys think of the whole situation. There's been a lot of back and forth. I briefly went over it, but, there's all kinds of stuff that happened. And, I don't think we're ever going to get music out of this because 50's kind of above that in terms of where he's at in his career. I don't think he really cares, because would you go back and forth with somebody that's struggling to pay their rent? Come on, 50's like basically a billionaire. I mean, he hasn't revealed it, but he's either close to a billionaire or a billionaire. It just doesn't make sense for a billionaire to, make music and take time out of their day to diss somebody that is struggling to pay their rent. That's the kind of levels to this that we're talking about. But let me know what you guys think.